Hi, everyone. It is me, Sailor Moon, Serena. And it's me, Sailor Uranus, Sailor Skyworld, Amara here. And today we're going to talk about, you know, how, why, how DUANE got into Sailor Moon. Now, I know we talked about this film many times in the past, So if you don't want to watch it, then go watch some other film. Now, how DUANE got into Sailor Moon is, well, the true beginnings of it starts in between 95 YL, where, and some days, if he was lucky and got up around 5 or 5:30 in the morning, who knows what days these were. They must have been days where he didn't have to go to learn, or he was awake before anybody else was. And he he would have watched some sagas of Sailor Moon. It would have been, I guess, on UPN or WB or one of those two at the time. And if he had to go to learn that day, then he wouldn't have not fought anything of it, And he didn't see every saga because he wasn't always up early enough when they played, but he would at least see some of them. And he'd go through his day, and when he went to learn, or when he went to home, whatever, it wasn't talked about, so he didn't make a big deal out of it. Now, let's say years go by, and he would be getting up to get ready to go learn, and they would always have the Bandai, or the Bandai dolls, showings about here's the small Sailor Moon dolls you could get, but really didn't think much of them, and didn't really even ask if they could go buy them because, didn't know where they were selling them at and how much they were worth. So, and then years go by, and then by between 97 while USA gets the rights to Sailor Moon, and he sees these showings for Sailor Moon all the time. And maybe he did watch it here and there when it was on USA, but that was about it. And then another year goes by, and then Sailor Moon is on cartoon, or drawing show. Now, I don't think he watched it there. He may have known it was on there. He may have watched some of them on there, but that was it. And then he doesn't, and then over the years he forgets about it. Doesn't know what the name of the show is. It is what it is. Years go by. And then by 2008 YL, the nostalgia critic, or the old scaver, the past scaver, is talking about it. And then that's how he gets into it. And then he's been into it ever since that day, watching the Deek Glee Sailor Moon on every website that he could happen to seek out, and some of them are more good than others. Now, some folks may have been into Sailor Moon as early as between 95 YL, if they happen to be in the 4-1 ranks in the settled land in North Vinland. Others may have been into it earlier than that, to whatever dare when they happen to see it. So, yeah, you're right. That's how DUANE gets into Sailor Moon. And then the doll gathering started around that time too. And no, DUANE doesn't have every Irwin toy or Bandai doll ever made. Some of them are way too much. Some of them are old. Even some of the ones you can buy on eBay or Etsy are going to be worth too much. So no, he didn't get every single one ever made. And offshooting from his gathering to others, everybody else has more than he has. But that's all right. It was never a dare of who can get every Sailor Moon doll ever made. And then it was getting them on it was getting them on film. Then getting the Viz Sailor Moon on disc after he watched it many times on sundry websites. But at the end of the day, yes, he is aware that Sailor Moon, Viz Sailor Moon is on Hulu and Disney more. He does like the Viz Sailor Moon, but when he thinks of Sailor Moon, it is the Deep Glee Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon Serena, the one that a lot of folks in the Sailor Moon followership do not like. Now, we're not going to make a film talking about, why he likes the Deep Glee Sailor Moon, or when he thinks of Sailor Moon, that's the one. And then last year, a year before that, he gotten Sailor Moon R, for the Over Nintendo. And then he also got the first Sailor Moon game that came out for Sega. So he got at least 2 Sailor Moon games. He has the Sailor Moon drawing books, not the first ones that came out years ago, not the other ones, but the ones that started coming out around 2012, YL, 2012. So, yeah, he was a latecomer to what most folks have been into most of their lives. And some Sailor Moon followers out there would think that he doesn't know as much as they do. Or they might, think that he's making things up. Or they might think that his take on Sailor Moon's not the same as their take. Or he's in Nako Shakiguchi or Teikenshi's take. Or he's in Toei Business take on Sailor Moon. But that's how he got into Sailor Moon. And he's been a follower of Sailor Moon ever since that day. And maybe he might be the black sheep of the Sailor Moon followership due to him and what he does, But I think at the end of the day, he got into Sailor Moon. He's been a Sailor Moon ever since that day, So that's his saga about how he got into Sailor Moon. And if you do like this, you can give it a like, share it, and playlist it. And we will see you later.